What's good, Wizards fans? Welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, with my guy Brandon Scott. The Wizards continue the win streak. They have won 5 games in a row. Daniel Gafford with a double-double. And we're going to talk about Deni Avdija's performance since Rui has been traded. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com, promo code Locked On. So the Washington Wizards beat the New Orleans Pelicans 113-103. They improved to 23-26. Daniel Gafford with a double-double. Deni Avdija had a solid game once again with 15 points, 9 boards. Todd Gibson had 10 rebounds as well, 9 points. Kuzma didn't have his usual 30-point game, but what were your thoughts about the Wizards' performance, and what were your thoughts about Deni Avdija's performance and Daniel Gafford, and what was the main reason that you saw the Wizards get the victory over the New Orleans Pelicans?
Everybody eats. That's what it is. I think that is the philosophy. That is what's working, and that's what you want to see from this team, man. Everybody eats. Team basketball, ball movement, man. The team was flowing around the perimeter, man. You saw fluent ball movement. Team defense. The defense was on point tonight. I mean, I can't say a lot about the defense. Second chance points that came from rebounds. We controlled the paint. We out-rebounded them 53-42. Offensive rebounds 13-8. Gafford, look at him, man. 21 points, 12 rebounds, 8 from 11 from the field, 5 blocks. Man, he was the key factor to this victory. He kept us in the game, kept the ball rolling. Gafford, I believe this is the best performance he's had in his career. I mean, he was rocking, man. I love what I saw from Gafford, man. Now you see why they gave him that extension, because you see when he's motivated, when he controls the paint, he controls it. I mean, the landlord, man, he had it on lock. So, I mean, I love what I saw from Gafford, man. Like I said, the rebound, controlling the paint led to second chance points. We got 25 second chance points. So we extended possessions. So, this was a big team victory. Deni Avdija, man. I'm starting to be a believer a little bit, man. With Rui going to LA, I'm just saying, Deni, the confidence is showing. His play, and it shows. He's driving the lane. He's got confidence. The defense is there. I love when I see from Deni Avdija right now, man. I really do. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 for 8. So it's another good game. So I'm a believer, man. I think Deni may. I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of the Rui train, because I'm not. But you see the potential with Deni. You see the potential that he has, man. If he can get a consistent 3-point shot, I'm telling you, he's gonna be a gem. Because I mean, the defense. You see with confidence again with him driving the lane with power, man, with confidence. I love what I see from Deni, man. Looking at this bench, Kendrick Nunn. I can't say enough. 12 points, 5 for 13 from the field. He's been a nice addition. I was a little critical about the trade for him. I didn't know how they're going to use him, whether they're going to use him at all. And the way they're using him, I like how they're using him. He really meshes well with DeLon on the second unit. DeLon, again, was being himself, and Todd, 9 points, 10 rebounds. So this was a good team victory. Now, I know they were without Zion. I know that Valanciunas went out, but, man, I ain't sweating it. 5 wins in a row. I like where this team's at right now.
110%, man. A lot of guys stepped up. Kuz didn't have one of his nuclear scoring games. He had 30 points in back-to-back games, but other guys stepped up. Daniel Gafford was huge. Even when Valanciunas was in there, he was getting offensive rebounds. Like you said, we controlled the boards, we controlled the paint, we dominated. Gafford getting lobs, the one lob that Bradley Beal threw up to Gaff. Gav just went up there and got that and threw it down. He was huge, man. He was finishing around the rim, 12 boards. He was a +6, and 5 blocks too, man. I know they call him the landlord on the broadcast. He dominated, man. And we've given Gafford a hard time in the beginning of the year where he was kind of inconsistent, kind of up and down. We were talking about the contract coming up and, how he was, dropping the ball and kind of getting pushed around a little bit. He's been the one that has been physical and pushing guys around. I love that for Daniel Gafford. Especially taking advantage with Kristaps Porzingis being out. He stepped up now. The news came out that Porzingis is going to be available for the Spurs game tomorrow. DeLon Wright was huge last night as well. He had a buzzer beater. He's just been a pest on the defensive side of the ball. We made it tough for Brandon Ingram. Now, Brandon Ingram was getting his baskets. He was getting his buckets, but we made it tough for him. We know how he can score very easily. Kispert with 4 threes. Brad had a couple turnovers down the stretch, but he weathered the storm. And he had some big shots down at the end of the game. But Deni was huge, man. And his confidence has definitely skyrocketed since the trade. And I didn't really agree with what Tommy said, that the trade was made because, they wanted more minutes for Deni and Rui was taken away Rui was taken away from his minutes. I just didn't agree with that because Deni was getting big minutes. Deni started in the beginning of the year when Rui was there. So Deni was getting the minutes. And there was time where there were times where Rui was injured and Deni was getting big minutes. So I just think it's a confidence thing for Deni. I think he's starting to play without thinking. And maybe some of it is that he's not looking over his shoulder because, he knows Rui would come in and score, and Rui's primary, calling or primary role was to score. Now Deni's trying to step up and take advantage of some more shot opportunities there. But he's being more aggressive. He's getting downhill to the basket. Sometimes he is shoving guys off with his forearm, but I love the steal that he got on fast break, and then he did the little gesture with his hands, like locked. I don't know what kind of gesture it was, but, guys were hyped on the bench. That was a huge steal and finish for him, 15 points. And he's been rebounding his butt off. He's really been rebounding the ball, 9 boards. He almost had another double-double. He had 2 double-doubles in a row before that. So that was huge. And Kendrick Nunn, man, he's been an unsung hero off the bench too, man. 12 points, 2 threes. Taj Gibson was huge. To take an elbow to the head like that, he's a tough guy. I definitely think it was a flagrant one. I didn't agree with them kicking Jonas Valanciunas out of the game, but I definitely think it was an unnecessary hit to the head. I think it wasn't a basketball move, and I do think he definitely deserved a flagrant one. But Taj was huge, 9 points, 10 boards. But overall, just looking at the 3-point shooting too, Corey Kispert hitting 4 threes, 30% from the 3. Not great, but we did a good job defensively against the Pelicans, holding them to 27% from the 3-point line. We shot 29 free throws compared to the Pelicans 19. We still had to clean up from the free throw line 75%. We got to shoot better from the 3-point line. But like you said earlier, 53 boards to their 42. We just out-rebounded them. We just out-muscled them. We look like a team that wanted it more out there. And ball movement, 18 assists. We had 18 turnovers, so we got to clean that up. 6 fast break points, 50 points in the paint. We gave it 56. Our largest lead was 16. And like I already said, Deni was a plus 14. Gafford was a plus 6. Kuzma was a plus 4. Bradley Beal was a plus 14. The only negative 2 I'll say is Bradley Beal. Towards the end of the game, he had a couple bad turnovers. He did hit a clutch shot, but he's really got to clean up those turnovers late in the game, and he almost did it again towards the end of the game.
Yeah, with the good comes the bad and the ugly, and I agree. Turnovers need to be cleaned up. We say it all the time. Bradley Beal with his, he continues to have turnovers in the clutch. The Bradley Beal that I like is the guy who kind of falls into his role, which is score. When he's not the guy, when he's not the orchestrator, when the offense goes to Kuz or KP, I believe it's a lot more fluent. And I think it works for Bradley Beal when he steps back and he becomes a scorer. He's just not that guy that needs to handle the ball exclusively, especially not in clutch time. He's proven he shouldn't be the guy. But, overall, I think he's not 100%. You can kind of see from his play, he's not 100% with his hamstrings. So I think that has a factor with him, especially with his explosiveness. But I think he's going to ramp up. But this win shows me one thing, man, that we don't, even when the solid 3 struggles, we have guys who can step up and be productive. Gafford impressed me. This win, a lot of it goes on Gaff, man, because his performance kept us in the game. Gafford was just unreal. 21 points, 12 rebounds. He was just, he owned the paint for that night. They owe him rent because the bank was his, man. And again, Deni and Kendrick Nunn, man. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of the trade, but I do like the addition of Nunn. I'm gonna say that. I do like what he brings to the team, especially he's got that dog in him. He can shoot. He's a playmaker, so I like what I see from him. But Deni, maybe, like I said, I didn't agree with Tommy Shepard's comments about him holding back Rui because minutes were never really an issue for Deni. But I think that you are absolutely correct, E. With him not having to look back, and have that feeling as somebody behind him, he's free to kind of advertise where he's at. And it shows when his confidence is on, man. We've been saying it all year. When his confidence is on, Deni's a really good basketball player. I believe that he's a 3-point shot away from being a really, really good basketball player in the NBA. And he already is, his defense, but him driving the lane, a lot more confident now. And when he's confident, man, I'm telling you, he's driving the lane with ease and with power, man, and I love it. So yeah, man, my biggest takeaways are, the only negatives are turnovers, 18 turnovers. So 5 from Bradley Beal. They need to clean that up, but a very good team victory. And we're going to do a preview in a little bit, but going into San Antonio, man, I didn't see the road trip being this good, but it's been a very productive road trip. So overall, very impressed. Another good team victory, 5th in a row.
Right, yeah. Deni shot 3 threes. He made 1 out of 3. He started off high. He made his first 3 or 4 shots. But confidence is key with him, and man, he's definitely stepped it up, and he can do other things. He can defend. He's rebounding the ball at a high clip. I love the way he's played in the last 3 games. I want to see more. I want to see him continue that too when Porzingis comes back, because I know Porzingis being there probably will take away from some of his rebounds. But I want to see him keep it up. And Monte Morris, man, he's played a lot better too. 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 10 points. I think he's really gotten comfortable in his role with the team. Like the chemistry's wrong. Look out now, the Wizards. They're the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. They're the 9th seed. They're not too far right now. The Bulls are there. It looks like they're falling off. They already got word that Lonzo Ball is not gonna. He's nowhere near returning back this year. But we're gonna talk a little bit more about the standings and talk about a preview with the Spurs that we play against tomorrow night. But before we do get into that, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. If you looked at my picks for PrizePicks against the Pelicans, I had Bradley Beal for less than 30.5 points, rebound, and assists. And I was right about that. I don't want to be right about that. I want Brad to score more than 30 points, of course, and have more rebounds and assists. But the way he's been playing right now, he's still kind of getting back and acclimated to the team and coming back from the injury. So I just had a feeling he would get less. And then I had less on Herbert Jones getting 8.5 points. He ended up with 8 points. So if you put the same picks in, then you would have won some money on PrizePicks. But this is how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, golf, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, golf, soccer, WNBA, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to PrizePicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code locked on. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code locked on at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. All right, so before we do move on to the preview against the Spurs, I did want to talk about the standings a little bit and what you think and how you feel about the plan. Of course, if we do make the playoffs this year, we do our pick will convey, it will go to the Knicks, so we won't have a first round pick this year, which is unfortunate. It's a really good draft, so you don't want to miss on the pick. But on the bright side, we would have more picks available to trade because the protection would be lifted. But looking at the standings right now, man, look out. The Pacers just lost to the Grizzlies, so they're the 11th seed. Now the Bulls are the 10th seed at 23 and 26. And we're the 9th seed at 23 and 26. The Atlanta Hawks are the 8th seed at 25 and 25. So we're only 1.5 games behind the Hawks and 3 games behind the Knicks at the 7th seed and 4 games behind the Miami Heat at the 8th seed. So how do you feel about the standings? We know Ted, says the plan, will never ever tank. So I know he's super excited about the plan. But what are your thoughts about the Wizards in the standings right now going forward?
I think before I look at anything, man, you got to kind of accept where you're at. What we should do, we're not going to do. They're going to do what they want to do. So you got to put a seatbelt on and kind of go for the ride. With them intent on with this core of Kyle Kuzma, Chris Porzingis, and Bradley Beal, I do like this squad, man. I do think we are a move away. I think we are a deadline move away. I don't know what we pick up, whether it's a 3-and-D wing or another point guard, but I do believe we're a move away. But I'm intrigued because, like you said, Atlanta, there's been some turmoil in Atlanta. Chicago, Lonzo's not coming back. So they might be sellers. How long are the Bulls going to hold on to their core, man? With them being an aging core. So if you look at the standings, we have a chance to not only get out of this hole, get up, to 500 and above, but we could make some noise. We could challenge for the 8th seed, maybe the 7th. But the biggest things with this team is 2 things: keeping that philosophy of everybody eats and consistency. If we can keep this team playing at a team game, and if we can be consistent, this is a talented team. I think they have, this core of Kuz, KP, and Brad, they're a good core when they play as a team and everybody knows their role. So am I taking back comments before about rebuilding? Man, I know people are gonna put me on the spot, man, but I'll say this, man. I do like this squad. I do like the squad. I think for me to be a believer in this squad going forward beyond this season, I want to see them get out of this hole, get above 500, and stay above 500. I want to see consistent play, and I want to see everybody's philosophy. And if we can get over above 500 and really keep the foot on the pedal, I'll be a believer. Matter of fact, I'll say this, man. If the Washington Wizards make the playoffs, I will dye my hair blonde. Easy money.
Kyle Kuzma.
I'm telling you, look.
Yeah, you gotta wear that mask that he wore into the game, the colorful Fat Albert mask that he had on.
Oh Lord, they're gonna have to do more than that to get that. But but not seriously, man. They make the playoffs, I'm gonna dye my hair blonde. I already talked to the wife about it. They make the playoffs, I will dye my hair. So I do like this squad, man. I do like this core. I really do. I think that the biggest thing is consistency. None has surprised me a lot. And Deni, with the handcuffs kind of being off for him, man. I like what I see so far. He's still a younger guy. He's still going to have his hiccups, but I like where we're going from here, man. I really do.
Mm. Yeah, the only unfortunate thing is that you do run into the Celtics if you get the 8th seed. That's not a good matchup for the Wizards, but the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, basically the top 4 teams, you're running into a buzzsaw. Now, if you can fool around and get the 5th seed, which would be a long shot, then I could see them being competitive. But them getting the 8th seed and playing the Celtics rather than, getting a top 5 pick, you kind of lean towards getting a better player in the draft. But, I like seeing this team compete. So I can see both sides of the argument for sure. I really do. But yeah, as long as I like seeing them play good basketball. Right now, they're playing good basketball. Like, they're moving the ball. They're playing well. They're running the floor. They're good defense. DeLon Wright's playing good defense. Kuzma's hitting some big shots. Gafford's playing like a madman. So they're playing good ball, man. I'm enjoying this. I really am. I'm enjoying this. The next thing you know, the Wizards, hopefully they don't disappoint us because they've done this before. They've gone on 5-game win streaks and they disappointed us. So I just want to see consistency. We're seeing our young guys develop too. Corey Kispert hitting 4 threes. Deni is developing. Jordan Goodwin has developed so far this season. So I love seeing this team win and being able to develop our young talent as well. So, but yeah, we'll get to the preview real quick. So the Spurs right now, they are certainly a lottery team. They're in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes for sure. They're 14-36. Keldon Johnson's a good player. Just looking at some of the numbers right now, defensively, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA right now. They're 30th in defensive. They're 30th in points allowed. They're 29th in opponent points in the paint right now. Defensive rating, the Spurs are 30th in defensive rating as well. So they're just a bad defensive team. What's your keys to victory? And looking at their key players. Keldon Johnson's a key player. Jakob Poeltl is a key player. I know they made him available for trade. They're saying that his value is that they want 2 first-round picks for Jakob Poeltl. I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't trade 2 first-round picks for him. Keldon Johnson had 34 points against the Suns. They just lost 128 to 118 in overtime. Jeremy Sohan, the rookie, had 30 points. He was drafted a couple spots ahead of Johnny Davis. I want to say he might have been drafted like right before Johnny Davis. Keita Bates-Diop had 14. Trey Jones, 7 points, the younger brother of Tyus Jones. Doug McDermott had 10 points. Stanley Johnson, 7 points. Malachi Branham was a rookie, 5 points. So what are your keys to victory? What's your thoughts about the Spurs? And the Wizards haven't beat the Spurs since 1999. Tim Duncan was on that team, Avery Johnson, and David Robinson. So that's been a long time since the Wizards have won in San Antonio.
Good God. Avery Johnson. Keys to victory. I got 3 of them, man. 1, everybody eats. Let's keep it going. Everybody eats, man. Let's keep ball movement fluid, man. Team basketball. 2, let's cook them in the paint. I think it's time for KP and Gafford, man. It's a buffet, man. Going to San Antonio, own the paint. And 3, start strong, keep the foot on the pedal. Don't play down to them because, look, they're a young team. I am intrigued by some of their guys, man. Keldon Johnson, man, he's really evolved into a good ball player. I like what I see from Jeremy Sochan. And, Jakob Poeltl, man, he can play a little bit. So they're young guys. They're a young team who, if we play down to them, they can get us. So, and we've been, victim to that a couple times this year, kind of playing down the young teams. And because, Houston was a close one, but, came out as a dub. So that would be my 3 keys to victory, man. Start out strong, keep the foot on the pedal, finish it up, man. Let's keep this streak going.
Yeah, I basically echo you too, man. I think this is a simple one, man. You can't play down the competition. I know they haven't won in San Antonio. I know Greg Popovich is a great coach. But we got to jump off. We got to start out fast. Excuse me. We got to put our foots on their necks. When we smell blood, we got to go for the kill early. We got to put this team away early, in my opinion. I think we're the better team. No disrespect to the Spurs, but I just think the Wizards are a better team. They're playing better basketball, clearly, than the Spurs. And like you said, I think we should feed Porzingis in the post. I don't see anybody that can check him. Feed Gafford down there, too. Get some lobs to him. Pick and roll for Gaff. Kuzma get downhill. And defensively, DeLon Wright. We got to get some steals with him and start some fast breaks for sure. And dominate the paint, dominate the boards once again. And let's see if we can get some offensive boards and bully them and push them around, because I don't see anybody that can really contain Gaff or Porzingis. And just limit the turnovers. Bradley Beal, I think he's still getting in the swing of things. 5 turnovers against the Pelicans, but I think he still struggled to shoot from the field, 5 for 17, but his shot looked a little bit more fluid. He had a big shot down the stretch against the Pelicans, that pull-up 3. So just Bradley Beal, don't force it, coming in the flow of the game. That's what I want to see from Brad, and feed the ball to Porzingis.
Absolutely. Great minds think alike. So before we move on to comments, tonight's episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Go to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet an expert who will do them for you. TurboTax experts can relieve you from the stress of taxes and file for you so you can do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Unpack a moving box of not taxes. Taste not taxes. Sing not taxes, a lullaby. Hope not taxes, sleeps through the night. Grab a saddle and ride not taxes into the sunset. Good God. With TurboTax, an expert will do the taxes from start to finish, ensuring your taxes are done right, guaranteed, so you can relax. Feel good to be done with your taxes, doesn't it? Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Visit TurboTax.com to learn more. Intuit TurboTax. Full service products only. View meeting while expert does your taxes required. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. And I guess before we roll into comments, we've do the player of the game and the defensive belt real quick. So I'm gonna roll with mine real quick. It's gonna be simple. Gafford gets both. In my opinion, 5 blocks. He's the defensive guy of the game. He definitely gets the belt and player of the game. Like I said, his performance: 21 points, 12 rebounds, 8 from 11, efficiency in the field, 8 blocks. He's definitely the player of the game for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's either DeLon Wright or possibly Deni, but I got to go Gaff too, man. He was shutting it down. And on both ends, rebounding the ball, 12 boards. He was just a force rebounding. He really was a landlord down there, and I thought he definitely deserved it. He was a player of the game, in my opinion, too. So shout out to Daniel Gafford.
Yes, sir, the landlord. I actually like that name, man. So let's get into comments real quick. Start out with Galad. Oh, hold on, I had him.
You got it.
There we go. All right. Galad Zeltzer, what's going on? What a great game. So great to see the team playing some team basketball, and it pays off. Absolutely. Even Bard, that had a bad game, didn't force the issue and let the game come to him up to the 4th. Man, look, we both said it, man.
Bard?
Yeah, even Bard.
Yeah. No, Galad, he wrote Bard, but yeah, he means Brad.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, they're right. Brad, man, the 5 turnovers, I get it. We say it all the time, man. Look, clutch is just clutch time in his time, especially with bringing the ball up. Now, shooting and scoring, if you look at the Bulls game, he can make that basket in clutch time, but he shouldn't be the guy bringing the ball up. But now when, everybody eats. When they play as a team, man, I'm trying to tell you, they win as a team. And consistency. Those are my 2 biggest things to point out for this team to be successful going forward. So, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, we talked about earlier, Brad struggled down the stretch, 5 turnovers, but he had some big shots down the stretch as well. That was a big pull-up 3 towards the end to separate the lead down the stretch in the 4th quarter. So we got to have Monte bring the ball up, or I'd rather have Kuz, somebody else handle the ball in the clutch and set screens for Brad and get him open rather than him initiating offense. I think we have enough ball handlers. DeLon Wright can handle the ball. Kendrick Nunn can handle the ball. And Brad is at his best when he's shooting, not when he's dribbling the ball, 10 times and getting trapped and trying to, throw a cross-court pass, just getting himself in trouble, dribbling off his feet. I think we have enough ball handlers on this team where we don't have to just rely on a Bradley Beal isolation to get points down the stretch. So, but yeah, what else did Galad say? He said didn't force the issue. Up to the 4th. Yeah, that's my key to victory. I just don't want Brad to force the issue. I want him to let the game come to him, but be aggressive at the same time. In the 1st quarter, he was pretty aggressive. He was knocking down some shots. But the 4th quarter, he just has to pick his spots. Let's see here. Fabulous result says, I know Valanciunas was out, but I want to see them use Gaff like that every night. Just throw the ball in the air and he'll go get. Yeah, go Gafford. That's what I see. That's what I want them to do is get lobs and guys get into the paint. He needs somebody that can get into the paint and get buckets for him and not spoon feed him, but just manufacture baskets for him. Because that's the kind of player he is. We're not expecting him to post up or shoot threes or shoot mid-range shots. He's at his best when he has somebody that can create a shot for him. And when he gets going offensively, you can see that it makes him hungry on the defensive side of the ball. Because when they're not looking for him and they're not looking to pass him the ball, sometimes he can get a little, lost in the sauce out there. And he wasn't in foul trouble too, so that was huge. So I do want to see them feed Gafford more.
Yeah, you're starting to see his game mature. You really are. He's maturing as a player, and right now he's playing at a high level. Like I said, this win was definitely on him. For Gafford to be that guy to step up the way he did with Kuz and with Bill kind of struggling, coming back from the injury and KP being out, man, this is enough. I think that his game has matured throughout the season, so I definitely agree. Let's see, this comments from TJ Hooks. I love the growth I'm seeing from Deni, and yet wondering what's the plan with Nunn and Barton. Man, I think Barton might be gone for the deadline, man. With him making 14 mil, I don't know if he's going to budge or try to, I guess, what do you call it, when he kind of pay him out, I guess. But I don't see that. I think with him making 14, I could see Kispert being gone. I like Kispert, man, but I think Kispert could be a piece that could be moved because outside of the 3-point shots, defensively, he's not there yet. And, so I think him and Barton could be targets for. Because if you look at the one, at the guard position, man, you got a lot of guys who play, man. So
definitely, yeah. Hodoya Pierce says that challenge at the end of the game saved the game. Yeah, that was huge. I wrote that down on my notes too. That was a good job by Wes Unseld Jr. I haven't heard a lot of people bashing Wes on social media either, and we haven't bashed Wes. We give Wes a hard time. I got to give Wes his credit too. I think more is less when there's less people in the rotation. I think that's when Wes does a better job of managing the game and managing guys. So I got to give some credit to Wes. I think Wes has done a solid job the last couple of games in this 5-game win streak.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing negative to say about Wes, man. He's evolving as a coach. So I definitely agree with you. Let's see. Mm-hmm. I see a funny one here, man. It's Omer Azulay, man. What's up? Player of the game is not Gafford Deni, it's Spencer Deni. Hey, I'm just saying. Look, he might have lit a fire. He's talking junk. Look at it. We seem to know a little bit about winning basketball at this point. So I'm just saying. So I got to agree with that.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie, man, he's a guy that's still hurt about the Wizards situation, and every time we beat him, he has something to say in press conferences. So I love when he starts crying after we beat him. But Gaff definitely was a player of the game for sure. Someone Aussie says blonde Brandon incoming.
Yeah, hey. I said it, man. If this team makes the playoffs, I'm dyeing my hair blonde, man.
Right. Matt says now we have to make the playoffs after that statement. Yeah, definitely. That I'm actually rooting for us to make the playoffs. I would hate for us to lose our first round pick in such a good draft. But I would love to see Brandon pull a Kuzma. I would love to see that happen.
Right.
Somebody else had a question. We're gonna do a mailbag pretty soon. Matt says, "What's the plan with Jordan Goodwin? Keep him, sell, or G League player that occasionally gets called up? He's too talented to go away." We're gonna talk about that in the mailbag episode on Tuesday. So that's a good question. The Capital City Go-Go, they did win the other night. I saw Chris Dunn had a game winner in overtime. I would love to see Chris Dunn play. I think he should be in the NBA, but we have a lot of point guards right now with Nunn and Monte Morris and DeLon Wright. We have so many point guards right now at the moment, and guards because you got to play Brad, of course. You got to play Corey Kispert. So we have a good amount of guards right now. So Jordan Goodwin, we'll see. But like I said, we'll answer that on Tuesday. Johnny Davis, I didn't look at his numbers. He did have a dunk. I didn't get to see his numbers really. But Jordan Goodwin, he did look good in the G League game that I watched. I watched a couple minutes of it the other night. I'm not sure if you got to see a little bit of it, Brandon.
Yeah, I watched the game today, man. I believe they played as the Long Island Nets. So yeah, I like what I saw from Jordan Goodwin, man. That's a good question because you got a lot of guards now. Mm-hmm. Now I was looking at the comments and fabulous results. Shout out. I agree. I don't want to trade Kispert, but I really don't. But you look at the over influx of guards, and I think we are forward away. So no, I'm not saying we should because I really don't want to get rid of Kispert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would definitely wouldn't trade him right now, especially since he's hot. He had 4 threes last game. He's been playing pretty well over the span of the 5-game winning streak. You need shooters, and the Wizards don't have a lot of shooting. We're one of the bottom 3-point shooting teams in the league. We've improved in that, but he's a guy when he's hot, he's hot. Defensively, yes, he can be a turnstile. He can be a cone on defense at times, but we need all the shooting we can get. We desperately need shooting, and when he's spacing the floor and hitting shots, that's huge. And Deni found him for a nice 3-pointer. I want to say Kuz found him for a nice thing. Kuz didn't score a lot, but he had a good amount of boards and assists. So he made up for his lack of scoring the other night. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm watching this Chiefs versus Bengals game. It's about to go to overtime. So but Brandon, is there anything else you wanted to?
No, sir. I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in Sunday. It was a good team victory. Again, tomorrow night we play San Antonio in San Antonio, 8 o'clock. So definitely tune in. Show the Wizards some love. Let's keep this winning streak going. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. And make your second listen game to game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, YouTube, we're close to 3,000 subscribers, so definitely like, subscribe, comment below, and hit that notification button. Follow me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, on Twitter and Instagram. We chop it on game days, on off days alike. So definitely appreciate everybody tonight. Definitely, again, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, San Antonio Spurs, looking to get our 6th win in a row. So everybody have a good night and peace.